Hey there, Kathleen. My name is Jessica. I spoke with Sam earlier, and she thought you might want to check this video out. I'm super excited that she accepted it on your behalf because I'm going to walk you through a few strategies you can start applying, and it's going to make a considerable difference for you guys. And I know that it will because we've applied the same strategies with over 50 other restoration companies just like you guys. And so being in marketing, some of this you may know, some of it you may not. But there has been a ton of changes in Google in the last 18 months. Ton of algorithm changes. How they're valuing websites and ranking them, okay? So you've got a lot of factors here on this website that are done correct, okay? That you're doing a really good job on. And then there's a couple areas that just aren't hitting the mark. And so if we tighten up those areas, it's really going to help. Now, Google did go to being mobile first, so making sure everything is mobile ready is good. Having those click to call numbers is good. Um, Ease of use of navigation is just as important for your customers as it is for Google. But also the way that your navigation is done is important, okay? This needs to be in the order of importance. So is people learning about you guys more important, or the services that you're offering and getting jobs more important, okay? And then of those jobs, what is the most important? Okay, so you might want to restructure your navigation here, and you might want to, instead of just generic services, might want to have disaster services, right? And then everything else under that, under different subcategories. Then I also noticed here is just fire and smoke, frozen pipes, mold, storm, water, instead of water damage or water damage restoration, storm damage repair, mold removal, mold remediation. Okay, so you're missing really key keywords in really important areas. So the keywords in your page's name and the page's URLs all matter. Okay. Um, Now, I am happy to see that you do have separate pages for all your major services. That is a requirement with Google. And I did check a lot of those out, okay? Most of those pages are really well written. There's just not an actual local keyword strategy involved, okay? Whether you want to focus the entire page on the state of Minnesota, or whether you want to focus it on your specific location in Waite Park, but your home page, all your back pages, with the exception of service area pages, all need to be that same local keywords. You do have a fair amount of content, which is good. Google, like I said, has made a ton of changes. So where we used to get away with pretty generic content, now we need really helpful conversational content built around what your customers are asking that are actually helpful. And so I did see on your service pages, some of those are pretty good, but there's just no local keyword strategy. Everything is these national keywords. And unfortunately, even if you rank number one nationally, of the traffic that comes to your website, how much of that is actually going to be people you can help, right? So if you're in central Minnesota and you're getting people from California and Texas to your website, that's not helpful traffic. So we have to focus on that local traffic and the different way people search. So you want the different variations of those keywords. So Waite Park, water damage, Waite Park, water damage repair, Waite Park. Okay. You do need those service area pages that you have as well. I'll show you that in just a second. Let's see here. Okay. So you have a decent amount of content here on this home page, which is the most important page of your website because it's supposed to tell Google what everything else on your website is about. So you do have to have good information about your top services and local keywords, okay? And then obviously interlinking those to those pages. It does need at least 1,500 words or more. When your competition has 1,500 words, you will need more than they have, okay? So we need more content. We need better keyword strategy and the right repetition of the keywords. If your exact match keyword is repeated 3 times on your competitor's site, you want it 4 or 5 times. Okay, all those little things add up and matter. Now, when we were looking at your service areas, I am happy to see that you have them because Google is proximity based. So the closer a person searches, the better the opportunity is for your website to show up. However, um, they're all the same duplicate site. Okay, every single one of these is exactly the same. The only thing that's changed is here. Okay, so Google doesn't like duplication. Every page needs its own content, and these need to be hyper local. So this entire page, this is for Brainerd. Okay, so this entire page should be about Brainerd, and relate to the Brainerd population. And then you should have your top services here and interlinking to those services, but you're using Brainerd keywords for this page. So Brainerd water damage repair Brainerd. Okay, same thing with your other service area pages. Okay, no duplication. These all need to be original content and have their own unique keyword strategy and relate to that community. Okay, so that is another huge factor here. So really for you guys, your local keyword strategy and those service area pages are the biggest factor on your website. I am happy to see you do have good forms right at the top of the page and click to call. That does help with the conversions when people are coming to your site. Now, if we look at your top competitor in St. Cloud for water damage, we have Service Master Restore. Yes, they are a franchise, but they're also beatable. Okay, these franchisees get these basic website pages that they're not allowed to really modify. So all you have to do is better than they're doing. Okay. They do have the separate pages for all their services. They have separate location pages. They have a fair amount of content, right? But it's all very generic. These guys don't really have any real local content here. So the stuff they're being indexed for, again, is the same issue you have, is the national keywords. And so for these guys, you just have to do better. More content, better quality content, and really focus on the local keywords, and that's going to help a lot. Now we know when your customers do a search on Google, they'll do a search similar to this. And when they do, there's 3 main areas your website has a good opportunity to show up in top positions for. The first are generally going to be your ads. They're going to be these local service ads or cost per click ads, which can be really profitable as long as you have everything dialed in, your processes dialed in, you have good budget set. For cost per click ads, you're using real landing pages designated to that specific ad and not your main website pages. Otherwise, you're going to not get a good conversion. People are going to bounce, okay? And these can be lucrative, like I said, but you only get leads as long as you have an ad spend. The other 2 main areas don't require an ad spend, okay? This area here, this is your Google Business Profile, Google Map Pack area, okay? Those are the top 3 positions of the Google Business Profile. Now, this area is absolutely critical because 30% of people skip everywhere else and they come right here, okay? When I did the same search for Waite Park, you guys were not in the top 3 either for that search. So, your Google Business Profile is not something you want to set and forget. I'm sure you know that. You do have to optimize it every single month. And you need to go and get citations. You need more citations than your competition, which again are just listing the name of your business, your address, phone number, and website, and placing those in a bunch of directories like the Better Business Bureau, Yelp, Glassdoor, Angie's, Home Advisor, Houzz, all your major social media profiles. and having more of those than your competitors, okay? And that definitely gives you a good boost. Because when you're not in that top 3, that's 30% of your monthly revenue for each service and every service area that you're missing out on. And then this third section here is the organic section. This section is critical because 60 to 70% of people skip ads and the maps and come straight here and land on these websites. So when your website doesn't show up here, okay, that's again an additional 60 to 70% of jobs every single month that you're missing out on. So in order for your website to show up here, it comes back to the foundation of this website. Do you have the proper content and keyword strategy? And then are you supporting that with a backlink SEO strategy? Now, if we look here, it does look like that you have SEO or did have SEO at some point, okay? You guys have a rating of a 31 out of 100 in Google's Trust Flow, which isn't too bad. Most websites we audit have barely any score, okay? Now, this score and Google's trust is based on the power you're sending to it. Your website is a very powerful tool, and we power those websites with backlinks. And I'm sure you know, but I'll just go over. Backlinks are links that come from somebody else's website. So their referring domain pushes the link to you, and it helps bring the power from that website to your website. So while we do need a lot of these backlinks, we only want the good quality links that are closely related to your business, that are do follows. Okay, so those are generally from other home service businesses, related vendors, and directories. And we want more of those than our competition, but only more of those good quality ones, which helps increase this score, which makes Google want to rank your website and help you rank for your keywords. Now, you do have 54 keywords, but you're only getting 47 organic, and it looks like you must be doing some kind of ads. You're getting a little bit of paid traffic as well. If we look at your keywords here, almost all of them are national. So mold services has 500 searches across the entire United States. 19 people landed on your website. But how many of those were actually local people? Could be all of them, could be none of them. Realistically, in the small area that you're in, most of that probably was not local. Okay, so near me, even though it sounds local, that's actually a national term as well. So we really got to focus on these local keywords like this one here. Now, you are on the first page for a handful of keywords, which is great. But the higher you are in ranking, as you start getting the first, second, third position, the more the potential traffic you can get. You can get up to 30% of that traffic or more when you're in those higher positions. So even as you start ranking these keywords, you still want to keep working them as close to the top as possible so you can capture the most potential traffic. Now, if you look at your competitor, again, this is for a single page of this Service Master location. This page has a 7 with 1,100 backlinks, so most of those are spam. To have that many backlinks and a 7 is pretty low, okay? So we only want to go after their good backlinks and do better. But this single page, okay, versus all your pages, this one page is indexed for 198 keywords and gets over 700 people organically to this single page every single month. Not to mention all their other pages. This is just one page, okay? Now, if we look at those keywords, though, I don't know how many of these people are actually local because these all look like blog articles. Okay, none of these are actually real local. That's a branded local term. Okay, so they have a ton of traffic. How much of that is local, I don't know. Because most of these are actually national keywords. So you can absolutely do better, these guys and your top competitors in your service area, by just enhancing and following these steps that I've shown you. Oops. Hopefully you found this information to be helpful. Please feel free to take it and run with it if you want help with this. This is our specialty, so please reach out with any questions you might have by replying to my email or give us a call, and we'd be happy to chat. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to hearing from you soon.